Yo, what is going down, everybody? It is Straight Out of Boston, and today I'm back with episode 1 of my new OOTP series here on Out of the Park Baseball 19, and today we are firing up a brand new dynasty with the New York Mets, so I dropped some hints as to which team it would be in the channel update I posted a couple days ago, and a few of you in the comment section were correct in guessing the New York Mets. I think saying it was a big market team that had kind of floundered this year, probably a pretty significant hints. But anyway, it's besides the point. So we are starting up a new series, and we're going to be taking over the New York Mets. Obviously, a team in quite a lot of turmoil and disarray since their 2015 World Series run. We can go check out the history and look at how they've done since then. Only 70 wins last year, and looking like they might even win less than that this year, the way they've been playing since their 12-1 start or 12-2 start, whatever it was. They got off to an incredible start this year. Everyone kind of thought they were going to be back in the playoffs, or at least back in contention for a wild card spot, but was not to be this year, as they're now like 16 games under 500, and recently got drubbed by the Washington Nationals, 25-4. So. Anyway, but the Mets should be fun. They're a team without a great farm system, so we're going to have to really work on that. But we've got some major league assets, and honestly, some people had kind of, wondered if how I would navigate the fact that in real life we're already up past the trade deadline. A lot has happened. A lot has taken place in this season. So I think, someone mentioned to me there was going to be an August roster update. I considered waiting for that. There was also, I saw on the OOTP development forums, a quick start that a guy had made for just starting at August 1st, 2018 with the updated trades, rosters, and all that. But he said some of the stats wouldn't be accurate, and I kind of just decided I was going to start from the beginning and start with the default rosters and let the season play out as it does. And the thing about that is, we might actually end up being a good team because it's not like we have, terribly rated players on this team. I mean, we have a pretty solid group of position players. Not the best, but pretty solid for the most part. And obviously, we've got some really stud pitchers, and we still have Matt Harvey, of course. But mainly Noah Syndergaard and Jacob deGrom, who, if they have big seasons, then we have the chance to do some big things. And so that's the thing. I mean, the season might play out, and we might not be sellers at the deadline. We might not trade Asdrubal Cabrera or Jeurys Familia. In fact, we might add to the team. So that part could be kind of fun. And typically when I do these series, I start out, as a rebuilding team in the first couple of years are sort of a wash. But this could be a little bit more entertaining from that perspective. We might have the chance to make the playoffs right off the bat, so that would be pretty cool. Anyway, I made a few changes to the league settings. I decided to do it in challenge mode, as you can see here, so you guys can follow along. I think maybe there's like a link to my challenge mode profile or something that I can try and throw in the description of this video. But the one thing I was pretty disappointed about in challenge mode is you can't really change these league totals. And these numbers here basically just determine how the simulation engine will sort of play out. And you can see here it gives you a league average slash line. But the thing is, the offense is really kind of like not overpowered, but the offense dominates as the years go on in OOTP this year, from what I've noticed and from what I've seen other people noticing. So I was kind of hoping to up the strikeout totals because one thing I noticed in the other save that I had going on was the strikeout numbers were a lot lower than what they are nowadays. Very rarely did you have starters over 9 Ks per 9 or guys over 10 Ks per 9. So I kind of wanted to bump those up in hopes of sort of combating some of the offense, but that's all right, not a big deal. We'll just play it out as it is. We might have a more offense-dominant league, but that's not really a problem. Everyone will be playing in the same environment, so it's not like it'll be an advantage or a disadvantage for us. And if anything, having some, two potentially elite pitchers in deGrom and Syndergaard might actually make that advantageous for us if it's easier to sort of make up a deficit on offense than it is on or in the rotation. And then I think I changed one of these rules. Which one was it? I don't remember. Oh, I changed the AI trading frequency to low because, as has been the case in most OOTPs, there are just way too many trades all the time. So I changed it from average to low. And there's usually a setting that is like ability to trade recently drafted players, but I'm not finding that. So I'll have to I'll have to try and see if I can find that at some point, because I would like to enable that, since players do get traded after they get drafted from time to time. Like Trey Turner was traded less than a year after he was drafted, for example. And I'm not sure that I did too much else to these settings. Let's see, AI settings. See, the trading difficulty is on hard. And this is stuff that would also be nice to mess with if I wasn't on challenge mode. But I wanted to play on challenge mode for the series. And let's see, I didn't really look at this stuff. So yeah, pretty minimal changes to the rules and stuff. And if I can think of any more that I did, then I will definitely let you guys know. So we are kind of in the midst of spring training right now. I guess there is no spring training for the first one, so we're just going to simulate up until opening day, and then I will probably go through maybe the first month of the season or something like that, see what kind of start we get off to. And I'll show you guys the new 3D simulation that they have, which is pretty cool. So one thing I need to do is disable one of the manager. I actually need to play with some of these manager options. I forgot. I want to make a lot of the minor league stuff I don't really care to micromanage. These two minor league personnel we'll make Sandy Alderson do. Team personnel I want to do. Yeah, the rest of the stuff I want to do. And I need to autoplay. Do not exit autoplay when I get a trade proposal, because the trade proposals in this game are still garbage. And oh yeah, another rule I considered changing was enabling the trading of injured players. Because players do get traded when they're hurt for longer than 7 days all the time. Like Wilson Ramos just got traded even though he's hurt. And the thing about that is, in this game, when a player is hurt, it kind of screws up his trade value. And you can often trade for guys who are injured for like a month for a lot cheaper than you would be able to otherwise, is one thing I've noticed. So I don't really want to, have the ability to take advantage of that or anything. So. And I did enable a handful of other leagues for this. I enabled the KBO, the NPB, some independent leagues in the U.S., also the top Serie Nacional, that's the top Cuban league and the top Mexican league. So we'll have the opportunity to sign free agents from there if they get posted. We also have the World Cup of Baseball, which is the World Baseball Classic, basically. And we have some job offers here we could take. So obviously, it kind of makes sense to take the United States job offer, but the United States team is always kind of stacked in this game, and they quite often win the World Baseball Classic, so I'm not sure if that would be the most fun thing to do. But we'll probably just do that. We'll take the U.S. offer. Oh, it expired. Never mind. All right, well, maybe we'll get offered it again. I mean, honestly, I don't really care about doing the World. It was fun the first year they had it. Now I just don't really care so much about doing it in this game. So this was a little bit of an unforeseen development. We're actually getting Jason Vargas back off the DL before the start of the regular season, and he actually is owed a decent chunk of change over at least the next 2 years. At least that third year's no buyout. But yeah, he was a free agent signing in the off season, and wow, he actually I realized he had 18 wins last year. I know that doesn't mean anything, but still kind of funny to me. Anyway, his ratings are pretty terrible. So I'm not too concerned about finding a spot for him in this rotation. But we do have to find some sort of roster spot for him. And we have 26 guys? No, we have 25 guys on the active roster. I might just... we kind of need Jose Reyes to be our backup infielder for now. I could send Bryce Brents down, but that should not be a problem. We can just DFA him. That's definitely not a problem. And we'll activate Jason Vargas and see. I probably want to carry 13 pitchers anyway. So, see if it puts him in the rotation, though, or not. So, another thing I forgot to mention was I'm using GM only mode. I'm letting the game hire a manager or whatever. I'm making sure I have a manager. In this case, it's Mickey Callaway. And I've been doing that for the last couple of years because it's a little bit more challenging and more realistic, because obviously the GM doesn't really have control over the day-to-day lineup and stuff like that. And at the same time, I just don't really want to micromanage the day-to-day lineup and stuff. There are kind of workarounds if if I really wanted to play Ahmed Rosario at third base for some reason, I could just set his game strategy and force him at third base. And because my manager is Mickey Callaway, if I had like Dave Roberts as my manager or something, I wouldn't be able to do that. But because it's Callaway, who's a first-year manager and doesn't have a very significant rating in this game, then it pretty much lets me do that with no problem. So we also got Dominic Smith back healthy 1 day before the season starts, and He already has 52 days of service time, so I'm not really too concerned about sticking him at AAA. Although his ratings, it seems like he could actually use some time at AAA based on his ratings. So I think we will demote him. And we got one more day before opening day. I'm not sure anyone will really be on waivers, but we can check it out nonetheless. We got to generate these season predictions. It'll be interesting to see where they, how many wins they think we will get. I would imagine probably like 80s, somewhere in the 80s. Because like I said, when I did my other save with the Oakland A's, I think the Mets actually won like 87 games or something like that in their first year, and maybe made the playoffs or were at least in contention for a playoff spot. But anyway, it looks like we already have one trade going down. Kurt Suzuki to the Angels. I guess that kind of makes sense because the Braves also have Tyler Flowers, and we do not have any top 10 prospects. These are the top prospects. No one really too surprising. And let's check out the, or can we not check out the preseason predictions? I guess we can't. It's annoying. All right, well, not a problem. So yeah, we'll play a few games. I'll play opening day and show you guys the new 3D simulator. It's pretty sick, I will say, and I'm pretty sure it's new to this year's game. Taking a quick look at our finances. You can see we have a pretty big payroll and even more money for free agents. So that's actually, you know, it's more challenging to do it with a cheap team. Like that's one reason why I did the Oakland A's with my original save in this game, because it is more challenging to do it with, you know, a team without a huge payroll. But it's honestly more fun to do it with a team that has a big payroll because, you know, then you can afford to keep guys that you actually sort of become endeared to. Like the thing with the A's was, you know, I couldn't re-sign Matt Olson. I had to get rid of Matt Chapman. I had to get rid of guys that I wanted to build around in favor of, you know, guys who could offer similar production at a minimum salary price. So it's just not as fun, quite frankly, doing it with a team like that. We should also take a look at our owner goals because that could matter. So Wilpon wants us to play close to 500, upgrade at shortstop, sign Familia to an extension, acquire a nationally popular player, and reach the playoffs the next 5 seasons. So none of that's too tough. I'm not sure I'm going to re-sign Familia. His ratings are decent, but he is 28, and right now he wants $12 million a year, which I would probably not sign him to. So it's going to depend on how the season goes. Depends on how his season goes. And what was his personality? I forget. Egotistical. So yeah, it's not really a great personality to have for the team. But this other stuff, potentially, we could definitely play close to 500. Down the road, we could acquire a nationally popular player, and we could reach the playoffs in the next 5 seasons. Who knows? Yeah, so we still have, looking at our DL, oh, Conforto actually just got healthy, so we can activate him. Question is in favor of who? Maybe just, quite honestly, I might just DFA Adrian Gonzalez. I would DFA Jose Reyes, but I don't really have another infielder. And I don't think I have anyone at AAA I could call up to fill that spot. Maybe Gavin Cicchini. But he's probably not quite ready yet. So I kind of need to keep Jose Reyes. And Jay Bruce can play a little bit of first base, right? Kind of. Yeah, his ratings are not very good. So maybe we do need to keep Gonzalez. I'm not sure who I would dump in favor of. Maybe Lagares. His ratings are definitely not good. Nemo I want to keep. Yeah, Nemo we got to play. We definitely got to play Nemo every day. See if he develops like he has in real life. Alright, so we'll send down Lagares then. And it'll probably be a 4-man outfield rotation with these guys. But depending on how the season goes, you know, a chip like Yoenis Cespedes, who, yeah, wow, actually ends up on the bench with this lineup. That could be a guy that we try to move because he makes a lot of money. And, you know, he's 32. So if he's having a good year and we're looking like we're going to be out of it, then maybe that is a guy that we try to move. I kind of want to force play Conforto in right field, so I think I'm going to do that. So that way we get Cespedes in there over Bruce. You see, I just do that, and then I'll update with the lineups, and there we go. So Bruce, wow. Bruce not even backing up left field or center field. That's kind of surprising. Not sure. Jose Reyes doesn't have the worst outfield ratings I've ever seen. I don't know. I do not know. We'll definitely be changing up this roster as the season goes along. This will not be the group of 12 position players that make it to the end of the year. I can pretty much assure everyone of that. We also have 2 catchers, so that is something we could decide on if we decide to pick one over the other. Darno, I think, is a free agent sooner than Plawecki is. Yeah, much sooner. But I think Darno's offensive ratings are probably, yeah, definitely a little bit better. And another thing I've noticed about this year's game is the player ratings in general aren't as high as they used to be. So pretty much getting a 3-star player, like in the past, if I had a 3-star player as a starter, I would kind of be thinking about that as a spot to upgrade. But a 3-star player is actually like a solid big leaguer in this year's game. I think it's a little bit different than in previous years. I could be just extrapolating, but that's one thing I've noticed. And like a 3.5 or 4-star player is definitely like a starting caliber player. And I think like in past years' games, DeGrom and Cespedes might have been 4.5 stars. Conforto might have been 4.5 stars. Familia might have been 4.5 stars. So it's a little bit more. It's a little bit. The ratings are just all a little bit lower this year. So we'll see. We'll see that play out. But anyway, let's play opening day, and we'll start simulating a little bit. See how we start the year, if we started off well or not. And then the format of these videos will pretty much be how I've always done them. I'll do an episode for the mid-season where I do the amateur draft and get up to the trade deadline, and then I'll do an episode for, the postseason if we make it, or the end of season if it's close, or the off-season if it's not close. All right, so Syndergaard getting the ball on opening day, and yeah, this is pretty cool. So you can see everything's kind of in 3D now, and when you actually go like batter by batter, um, the ball and the players move. The ball, I think, moved in last year's game, but the players didn't move necessarily. But there's a strikeout for Syndergaard. Carpenter is up next. You can see that. See how everyone's moving around. Even the second baseman, like something as little as the second baseman, going to cover second base on that play. Pretty. Wow, nice voice crack right there. Pretty cool. And there we go. This is going to be a 1-2-3 first for Syndergaard. And we'll do batter by batter for one inning of the Mets as well. Just for the fun of it. It's Carlos Martinez on the mounds. Brandon Nimmo with a base hit. Yeah, it's it's a little bit wonky. Like sometimes, it looks like it's just going to be a ground ball and it goes right under the third baseman or something like that. So it's definitely not as refined as it could be, and I'm sure it'll get better in later games. Look at Asdrubal Cabrera with a ground rule double. So we've got second and third with no one out here in this opening day affair here at Citi Field. Cespedes at the dish now. He's got a 2-1 count, flying one to left. This one not very deep. Not sure if Nimmo is going to tag. He will tag, and he scores. So we go on top 1-0. Now it's Conforto with a grounder to the second baseman. Colton Wong is there. Throw to first in time. 2 down for Wilmer Flores, getting the start over Adrian Gonzalez today. And that is going to be popped up shallow left center. DeJong is there. So the only thing I don't like about this new in-game interface is that I don't get the, like if I go to there's a way I can do the classic view. No, it's not box score. Anyway, there used to be, you used to be able to get the inning by inning score, which I kind of liked to see how the game was going. Is it game options maybe? I don't know. There used to be, I swear there's a way to get it back to the old display. Oh yeah, field view. You could do classic 3D view. And yeah, this is the old way they did it. But as you can see, maybe it does still go 3D. So maybe I will switch to the 2D way because I do like having and you can tell the hits and the errors and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about that or not. But let's just do. Whoops. Meant to do half inning. Didn't matter. Syndergaard got roughed up there. We'll go until runners in scoring position. Martinez on second with 1 out. Colton Wong up. That is a liner to right field. Conforto has got that. Now 2 outs for Matt Carpenter. He strikes out. Oops. And all right, 4-1 Cardinals right now. Got to get something going on offense. We got 1 run back there. Syndergaard is at 82 pitches. Yeah, I'm just so much more used to having the screen like this. I think I will keep it like this, quite honestly. Even though the modern view does look pretty nice. In opening day, I don't want to stretch Syndergaard too far, so I think we'll turn this game over to the bullpen, and we will let's get Anthony Swarzak up. Swerzak coming off of a pretty good 2017, but he has not been too good in 2018 so far. But that could change over the last couple months of the regular season. We'll see how he does for us. Gives us a scoreless 6th, and he threw 19 pitches, so we will take him out. We'll go with Hansel Robles for the next inning. Still nothing going for us there. Get Robles in the game. Gives up 2 runs, so this thing is not going too well. Let's get Jason Vargas up. We'll try to have him eat these last 2 innings, assuming we don't come back. Got 1 back there. It's probably not the smartest move putting Vargas in here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Gave 1 back. Oh, we make it a 2-run game. So now I kind of want to be careful. Let's get Ramos up. Vargas facing 3-4-5. This is probably not ideal. That is a fly ball to left, dropping fast. That's going to get down. Let's visit the mound. And we're going to change pitchers. Get Ramos in the game. See if we can hold him in this inning. And he does. Oh, nope. First and second with 1 out. Tommy Pham up. That is a liner into right field. That's going to get a run home, maybe 2. Conforto over to play it. Runner being waved home. The relay is going to be tight. And it is not in time, it looks like. So a 2 RBI double for Tommy Pham. The lead back up to 4. And we're going to obviously pinch hit for Ramos this inning. I think they are going to go with the other. Let's just go batter by batter. I'm not sure if they're going to change their pitcher or not. That is a ground out for Darno. Ahmed Rosario up next. That is going to be a base hit. So 1 man on. Looks like they're keeping the righty in. So we're going to go with, let's go with Jay Bruce as the pinch hitter. And he strikes out. 2 down for Brandon Nimmo, our last chance. That's a ground ball. That is going to be in time. And the Cardinals take game 1 of the season. So they win 9-5. We've got Bryce Brent. Got an option, or not an option, but demote. And all right, so let's simulate forward a little bit. We'll see how the season sort of starts out for us and see if we can kind of tell what season it's going to be based on that. And so obviously I enabled a bunch of the, I enabled like the Korean League, the Japanese League, some of those leagues. And as a result, all the international free agents that this game creates that aren't posted in the posting system, for now we have it set to be Taiwanese, but I can actually change that. I don't know if you guys, if anyone who watches this series has played this game and maybe has played with that setting at all. It's a little bit annoying to me that all the international guys are Taiwanese, but I don't really know what else to make them. Like, you can make them Colombian, Australian, Canadian. You could even make them Japanese, but it doesn't really make sense for me to make them Japanese or Korean because we already have those leagues enabled, so we already have a way to get players from those leagues into our league. But I don't know. I don't know if anyone's played with that setting or not. I might play with it a little bit. I didn't actually discover it until I started this one. But alright, we got some achievements, cool beans, and let's keep going forward. I guess we'll keep an eye on the waiver wire because we'd definitely still be in the market for some guys who might end up on waivers. 2-2 right now. So as I said, we have the potential with this roster to, maybe compete for a playoff spot, or it could go into complete and utter turmoil like it has in real life. And honestly, I think I'm kind of rooting for it to just be garbage like it is in real life, because I think it would just be more fun. I think we would have tougher decisions to make in terms of what to do with guys like DeGrom, Syndergaard, Jeurys Familia, stuff like that. But obviously, if we want to keep the owner happy, we got to play well. So it's kind of a catch-22, but ultimately I'm not too concerned with how we do in year 1 because I'm not planning on winning the World Series with this team. So it doesn't really matter otherwise because my only goal is to win the World Series, and we can get there with a multitude of paths. We can get there by either competing right away or by rebuilding a little bit. So it's kind of up for the game to decide for us in a sense. But we just got swept by Philadelphia, I think. Or no, I think we took 1 of 3 there. Anyway, we're not off to a great start. We just got destroyed by Washington, 16-3 on their home opener. Got 2 more against them coming up. And as you can probably tell, the simulation feels a little bit slower to me in this game. I don't know if that's because my computer is getting older or because I have more leagues enabled, but it's not a big deal. It just means I have to keep the conversation going a little bit longer while I do this. Maybe I might just simulate to the end of the month and then come back and reassess things. Syndergaard with a setback, so we're going to put him on the DL then because we're going to utilize that 10-day DL, and I don't want him pitching through shoulder tendonitis. We can use Seth Lugo. They can put Vargas back in the rotation. I think that should be fine. Yep. And now we've got a 3-game set against Miami. We've lost 2 of 3 in each of our first 3 series, but this Miami team presents an opportunity for us to change that. However, we're not off to a good start with a 5-4 loss in game number 1. And we win game number 2, 8-3. So the rubber match with Jason Vargas making his first start of the year. And let's see how this goes. And we win it 5-1. Very cool. So we get our first series win. All right, so we simmed a couple more games. We're 6-8 right now, and we got Syndergaard back healthy. So I'm going to demote Seth Lugo, who's actually been really good for, or at least he was pitching really well for the Mets. I don't know how he's been doing as of late, but I remember early in the year he was a big story for them. So we got Syndergaard back, making his 3rd start of the year. And this would be cool because I think this would be a series win over Milwaukee if we win this game. But he gets destroyed. And yeah, we lost that series. Cespedes got Player of the Week though. That's pretty cool. Darno out for 2 days. That's fine. Where's the message about Cespedes? Here we go. NL Player of the Week. So Cespedes off to a pretty good start. He is mashing. On pace for a cool 14-win season. So like I said, the way the season is going right now, I mean, if we, we're a little bit under 500 come trade deadline time, and Cespedes is on pace for something like a 14-win season, I think we could get a pretty good haul for him if we decided to trade him, despite the big contract. And I'm going to do something that the Wilpons don't like to do, which is take advantage of our big market and eat some money in the trade, possibly to, maybe get a better prospect package back. That was kind of a big story with the Jairus Familia trade. Basically, the Mets they're making Oakland pay the rest of the salary for Familia this year, and as a result, they didn't get as good of a prospect package back from the A's. And I know guys like Keith Law, I think, or Jeff Passan were really hammering the Wilpons, who deserve to be hammered because they are definitely not the best ownership group in baseball, to put it lightly. But anyway, we're off to a very rough start right now, 7-13. Things not going our way early on. So we got a little personal message from Jay Bruce here, and he is not very pleased about being on the bench. And that's the one downside about force starting a guy like Conforto in right field, is it won't actually let Bruce even start like every 5th game or something. It just plays Conforto every single game. So that's a little bit annoying. I'm not really sure. I guess we could try and get Bruce some at-bats at first base, because I don't really, and honestly, we could move Flores to that backup infielder role and maybe get rid of either Gonzalez or Reyes in the long run. So let's do that just to keep Bruce happy, and I want Bruce in the lineup because his bat is pretty solid. Although I'm not a fan of his contract. I knew at the time, I remember tweeting at the time when the Mets signed him that was going to be a terrible contract, and I don't know how he's doing in real life this year, but I mean, you don't need to pay $13 million a year for a guy like Jay Bruce anymore. Guys like that are available all the time with the way that home runs have, or the rate of home runs have increased in baseball the last couple of years. And the fact that Jay Bruce got signed in December, but JD Martinez didn't get signed until February, kind of tells you all you need to know about that signing for the Mets. Anyway, we lose Familia for 6 weeks. This stinks. Put him on the DL. Let's check our DL. Are we? All these guys are out for a lot longer. It'd be kind of interesting if we got David Wright back. But, man, he's on a contract for a couple more years. That stinks. But we're going to have some serious dough to play with in due time. So that will be fun. We could call up Marcos Molina, who looks like he could be controllable starting pitcher for us moving forward. This guy's having a pretty good year. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Robert Selman, maybe? I don't know. Both him and Lugo are pitching pretty well down in AAA. I guess I'll go with Lugo for now. And maybe down the road, honestly, might just DFA Jason Vargas in favor of calling up a younger guy. Because I'm not worried about eating the money on, like, if I have to DFA Jay Bruce, if it really gets to the point where he's not producing and not happy, I'm not going to hesitate to just DFA him because we have plenty of money to burn, and if the season is going down the tube like it looks like it's going to go, then I'm not concerned about playing a veteran who might be slightly better than a young guy who we can try and develop. We're playing a little bit better as of late. And Jose Reyes, I really don't care about you and your desire to start, so I'm going to keep playing Ahmed Rosario because I want to develop him. I'm hoping he can be our shortstop of the future. So I'm kind of quickly simulating up to this off day, Monday, April 30th, but I just noticed something absolutely crazy, and I have to go check it out. Let's look at the stats. And, yeah, give me the leaderboards, because I think... Alright, he's not leading the AL in hitting anymore, but Andre Ethier hitting 380 for the Detroit Tigers in the month of April. That's pretty hilarious. That is quite funny. Anyway, just had to pause for that. But Cespedes hitting 348. He's still up there. We are 11 and 17 now. And let's take a look at how some guys are doing. We'll just go sort by WAR. So Cespedes has been our best player. Nemo's having a solid start. Frazier's been alright. Cabrera's been meh. Conforto's been pretty meh. Rosario's not really hitting. That is too bad. We might end up sending Rosario down the way he's hitting. In fact, I think we're going to do that because his hitting ratings are not very good, and this is not going to help his development. So we'll send him down, and we'll play Reyes probably at shortstop, and we can call up maybe Gavin Cicchini, or we could call Juan Lagares back up. Let's call Cicchini up, though, because I think we're going to need another infielder. And I'm closely monitoring Jamie Callahan down here in Double-A as well, because in my Oakland A's safe, he turned into a beast of a relief pitcher. So I think he even won reliever of the year a couple times. And I would like to, if his ratings are pretty good as they are, he definitely is close to being called up. I think if his control improves just a little bit, that would be nice. But anyway, we could definitely use the bullpen help because we're not getting great production out of a handful of guys. Pitching-wise, Harvey and Wheeler are off to pretty good starts. Harvey is a free agent at the end of the year, so he could be trade bait if we continue to play well under 500. But yeah, he's having a really solid year so far. Not a ton of strikeouts, but he's doing pretty much everything else well. The whip is pretty low, and the ERA obviously spectacular. Syndergaard, not off to a great start. DeGrom is off to a pretty good start, though. Oh yeah, his peripherals are looking really good. So that's good to see. And Wheeler's off to a good start. His peripherals also off looking pretty good. So, although, like, he has 45 movement and he's only allowing, you know, 0.3 home runs per nine. That's not going to keep up. So, all right, let's keep going. I'll go until maybe halfway through May or maybe even the end of May, and then probably call it an episode. These leaderboards are pretty crazy, man. May 2nd, we've got Jordan Zimmerman peeking over there, second in ERA in the AL. We've got, but we had Neil Walker like third in batting war in the AL. And we have Andre Ethier still hitting 375. NL-wise, things look a little bit normal. Jose Peraza, I guess that's not that surprising. 10 stolen bases. David Peralta with 2 batter war already. That's pretty nice to see. And we appear to be riding the ship just a little bit. 16 and 19 now, so we are 5 and 2 in our last 7. So things looking a little bit better for us. Like I said, I think, you know, if we didn't make any moves and we just kept this team for 162 games, I think right around 80 wins would be where we end up. And based on our owner goals, he wanted us to play close to 500 balls. So, you know, maybe the simulation engine would predict us for like 78 wins, because usually the owner is going to set a goal a little bit higher than, you know, what should happen. We just swept Cincinnati, though. Pretty nice. And things definitely going a little bit better. This is not what you want to see, though. Zach Wheeler, stiff neck, not giving us a timetable. Oh, he's fine, I guess. Just been informed, it's been nice. It's not serious to be able to resume play full strength immediately. All right, so he's fine. And Adrian Gonzalez wants to play every day. He's not playing at all, is he? Because Bruce is getting probably all those. How is Bruce doing, by the way? He is not really hitting. And he's up to a 30 grade first baseman. So I'm going to reset his game strategy and not force him to play first base. And alright, so he goes back to being a bench guy. At least he's playing all 3 outfield positions now in that bench role, so we'll probably get more at-bats, which is good. And all right, let's keep going. Oh, also one thing I wanted to discuss was potentially enabling the designated hitter. I wouldn't do it until after year one, but I wanted to know what you guys thought about that. Um, it just makes the team building a little bit more fun, I think, because you can kind of target a guy like JD Martinez, who you don't really want playing every day in left or right field, but would be a really fun DH to have, or someone of a similar profile. I think it just, like I said, it makes the team building maybe a little bit more fun. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below about potentially enabling DH. Maybe not even after year one. Maybe maybe we could decide we'll do it after year 3 or something. But the thing about that is, like, I don't know, it'd be kind of weird to do it maybe as I've already sort of finished building my team 3-4 years down the road. But who knows? Team building is always evolving, and there's really no finish to building a team. Team is always changing. So anyway, got a few more games. We just whooped Philly, and I think we took 2 of 3 there. So we're up to 500. Take a look at the standings real quick. So Washington is running away with the division, but the wild card is wide open. We were right there in the wild card picture. 2 back in the loss column of Chicago, and 1 back in the loss column of Milwaukee. So we are right there, right in the thick of it, and definitely playing a lot better than we were. So let's just go till the end of May then and see how things shake out. The first-year player draft is June 4th. We'll go up until the end of this Atlanta series. And this stinks. Noah Syndergaard out for 5 weeks with back spasms. So that is going to derail our hot streak for a little bit. Put him on the 10-day DL. And we'll call him Marcos Molina, because I'm curious to see what he could do for us as a starting pitcher. I hope it puts him in the rotation instead of Jason Vargas. And it did. Good. And another injury. Another win. 3-0 over Toronto, but another injury. Todd Frazier out for 3 to 4 weeks with a fractured foot. He had not been playing that well, so not a huge loss. We will call up maybe Juan Lagares. And let's see what the lineup looks like. I don't know who's going to play third base. Maybe Cicchini or maybe Wilmer Flores. Plawecki. Don't know about that one. He's got decent infield ratings, actually. Still, I don't really know about playing him at third base, quite honestly, but is that just because... Yeah, I guess we don't really have... I mean, we could play Flores at third. Maybe I'll force Flores at third for now, because I don't really want to be playing Plawecki there and then not have a backup catcher. Plus, this will get Gonzalez and Bruce in the lineup more, so we'll do that. Defense will take a little bit of a hit, but not a big deal. Wow, look at the 2 guys on waivers right here. Daisuke Matsuzako, I didn't even realize was still in professional baseball. And Qingming Wong, who's actually got a 1.5-star rating. His ratings are not terrible, but I'm not going to claim him. Oh, and another injury. Brandon Nimmo out for 4 weeks with fractured ribs. So we are really getting banged up right now, but it hasn't really affected how we've been playing as of yet. I imagine Lagares is going to get the nod in center field every day. And we're going to need to call up another outfielder probably. I wonder if it might be time to call up Dominic Smith. Lagares. We don't really have another outfielder, though, is the thing. How are like Gonzalez and Bruce doing? Gonzalez pretty meh, and Bruce has been awful. Alright, we'll call up Den Decker for now, and let's get to the end of May, and then we'll reevaluate. Look at this, Neil Walker hitting .361, and he's got 2.7 batter WAR. That is just absurd. Alright, so we got one more game against Atlanta, and we're 30-24 right now, so think about it. We were 11-17, and since then we are 19-7 in our last 26 games. So we are really, really playing well right now. And it looks like that Atlanta game got rained out, so probably a doubleheader later on or something. And Gonzalez now going ice cold, so it is time. I'm going to DFA him. And we're going to call up Dominic Smith. And I want him playing close to every day at first base. Yep, good enough. So this is what our lineup is looking like right now. We've got Lagares in there every day at center field in the absence of Brandon Nimmo. And I think I'm pretty fine with this. Darno, neither Darno nor Plawecki really playing that well. Darno does have a pretty low BABIP, so that could change. Pitching-wise, Steven Matz has been pretty disappointing, and it looks like they're swapping between Molina and Vargas, although it looks like Molina's largely come out of the bullpen. I want Molina starting, so I'm going to set his game. Well, I'm actually just going to set Vargas' game strategy, because if I set Molina to lock in as a starter, it'll automatically make him the #1 starter, which I don't really like. I'd rather, it doesn't really matter, but, oh wow, now it's putting Lugo in there. Yeah, I kind of want to see Molina, quite honestly. What are Lugo's? Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I want Lugo out of the bullpen, because his stamina's not very high. Force him as a reliever. Now I'll put Molina in there. There you go. So other than that, though, the rotation has been pretty good. DeGrom having a really good year. Harvey and Wheeler continuing to have good years. The Wheeler thing is the most promising, because he still has a couple years of team control left, although, yeah, his peripherals have started to regress a little bit, and I'm sure he will probably finish with like a 4 ERA. Look at the BABIP. That's not going to be sustainable in the long run. DeGrom, though, he's having a pretty good year. He's on pace for a 6-win season. The home runs might come up a little bit because his movement rating is also not very good, but other than that, he has really phenomenal ratings. And Harvey's peripherals have regressed a little bit, but he's still having a good year. The WHIP's still under 1.2, and he's still on pace for a 3-win season, 119 ERA plus. So really cannot have asked for much more out of him. And the bullpen pretty up and down. Swarzak having a bad year. Some guys like Robles, Ramos, and Blevins having good years though, and we'll get Familia back soon. He's only got 1 more week on the DL. We're gonna get some guys back healthy soon too, which could help us. But yeah, playing really good baseball right now. 54 games in, I think we probably have a wild card spot. We got that first wild card spot. Looks like Chicago and Arizona are just percentage points different from each other, and then a little bit of a gap between them and the next group of teams. So anyway, that is going to do it for me for this episode. We'll be back next episode with a mid-season update. We'll be making some trades. We'll be drafting some amateurs, and it should be a good time. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you are excited for the new series. Let me know what you think of the team selection, some of the rule changes I made. Let me know what you think about possibly enabling the designated hitter at the end of this season or at the end of future seasons, and any other suggestions you have for the series, things I could do to make it better. I'm always open ears. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy, and as always, I'm out. Peace.